Hi, Robert Chuckrow here. In this video, I'm going to talk about emotions and how they supersede their roles and how we can deal with that. And this is something that I was trained, and I've done it and have been successful in doing so. So I want to share what I have learned. First off, emotions, and there are probably hundreds of them, maybe more that haven't even been discovered yet, are necessary. We need them. We wouldn't have them if they weren't. So it's not a problem with emotions. It's a problem with when they flare up beyond what they should and take us over. And that's what I'm going to deal with. One is how to deal with that when it happens, and two, how to get to the root of the cause of that problem. So when, for example, anger kicks in, and our emotional systems are inflamed by television, by videos, by social media, by movies, what we read in the newspapers, by conversations with people. When that kicks in and starts to take us over, it's important to recognize that and go into a state of non-action where you keep your mouth shut, where you don't write that email, or you can write it, but don't send it. Be careful, because you could send it by accident, etc. And wait for that emotion to subside to the point where you can start thinking about it clearly and then come up with a better response. So that's what you do for anger. For anxiety, it's very hard because it takes you over and there's very little you can do about it. So the bottom line is, what causes these things to go to that point? And here is what I was trained and have practiced and understand, and I'm going to share it with you. Let's take anger, for example. When a situation happens that causes you to be angry or upset, and there are other emotions, you can extrapolate this to many other emotions. What we do is, after it's over, we review it. And that's a good thing to do, because then we can resolve it. We can have an understanding that goes beyond and use that understanding for our growth. And so it's important to do those things. But once it's resolved, that's the time to put it away, to put it into our reference library, instead of looking at it again and again and again. When we do so, what we are doing is inflaming it, giving it more energy. And then it's going to keep coming back in our memory, and we'll review it again. We have to recognize not to do that. And when that happens, to put it aside. Either just put it to rest by recognizing that and shifting to something else, or sometimes you have to kick it out. But whatever you have to do, that's what you want to do. And then if you do that on a regular basis, you will see the emotions will not have that power over you. They'll have less and less power over you. And of course, it's a life's work. It's not something that you do at once and it's done. You have to keep doing it. When it comes to anxiety, the example I'll give is the following. And I have a lot of experience with this because I experienced it myself as a physics student. And I've taught physics both on the high school and college level for over 40 years. A student will come to me and say, "Dr. Chuckrow, I don't know anything. I know I'm going to fail the test next week." And this is what they're doing when they say that. Whether they believe it or not is not the point. The point is they're telling their subconscious this to their subconscious minds. And the subconscious mind just believes whatever it's told. And now that becomes part of your conceptual framework. So The subconscious mind can also extrapolate. Well, if I don't do well on this test, I'm not going to do well in the course. If I don't do well in the course, I may not get into college. If I don't get into college, and it goes on and on and on until the person is homeless in their subconscious minds. And so what happens is now when they go to study, after having that thought, all that will come back in the form of anxiety. They won't even necessarily know that they created that by saying it that way, instead of coming over to you and saying, I really feel I need some help with the subject matter of this next test. Could you spend some time with me? And the answer might be, don't worry, we're going to straighten it all out. And that might be the end of the anxiety of that anxiety attack the student might have. Also, I tell the student what my theory is. I've done that, and I've helped a lot of students, some of whom their lips would turn blue and they'd be trembling before a test as the papers were being handed out. And so much so that they were crippled. They were crippled by it. So what you have to do is recognize how negative things that you think, whether it has to do with that or other things, how that impinges on your subconscious mind, and how that will come back to you in a different way that you may never even recognize as having been caused by what you did. And immediately stop and not do that. And if you practice that, you'll get good at that. If you practice reviewing all this stuff and inflaming it, you'll get good at that too. I know this from my own experience, and I know it from years and years of working with this in my own life. So try it, and I think you're going to find it makes a difference. It's slow, but it works. Thank you.